Hello everyone, I thought we'd do something a little bit different today and take a tour of the gallery as we've recently hit 600 exhibits in the playthrough of Legacy of the Dragonborn. So it's as good an opportunity as any really, and it also gives me the opportunity to say thank you to everyone who tunes in to watch the series. You will make it the best playthrough I've ever had. It's so enjoyable and it is a joy to be able to share it with everyone and see everybody comment and follow along. You make this hobby incredibly satisfying, and it also gives us an opportunity to talk about what we want to see and what we might play next, because I love mods. You might be able to tell from the mod list for the series. I'm a big fan of mods. I got a lot of them installed. I don't think there's one game that I've not done something with on the channel. Maybe not Ghostwire. And in Outer Worlds, I sort of tweaked the HUD, which did mean I didn't use a lot of the companion abilities very much, but just so it was very in the way, and I couldn't find an immersive HUD alternative for something like Outer Worlds. But yes, and when you get huge mod projects like this, like Legacy of the Dragonborn, this is the swan song mod, I think, for Skyrim, because Skyrim, I don't believe it would have had the longevity it's had, where they've released Special Edition and an Anniversary Edition, and they released it on Amazon Echo, was it Echo? It's marvellous just how this game has stuck around and been so thoroughly entertaining, even without mods. But the modding community has a lot to be thanked for just adding so many new ways to enjoy Skyrim and reasons to keep going back and playing it over and over again. And the way it adds relics from previous games like the Armour of the Crusader. I recognise this from Oblivion while I played Knights of the Nine. It's just, it completes the world and makes it more alive and fleshed out. And I'm sure there's plenty of relics here, which I don't recognise from older games either because I've simply forgotten them or I've not played them, because I've not played Morrowind, for example. And kind of talking about modding, it does bring us on to the subject of other things we might play, which is Skyblivion, which they very recently announced that it's going to be coming out 2025. Well, that's the window they gave in their release trailer. And that is very exciting. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It is a little later than I was hoping for, so we won't be seeing that on the channel anytime soon. But hopefully one day. But there is Fallout London, the modding project for Fallout 4, recreating sort of London and a new experience to play there, and that also looks very exciting, the way they've recreated the London Underground to traverse the world and all the new exciting places they've done and interpreted what it might look like in the Fallout universe. I'm very excited. Being a British person, having always played, the Fallout game set in America, in the Capital Wasteland or the Mojave, and the Commonwealth, of course, in Fallout 4, there's a lot of landmarks that I just simply don't know. So I don't really see it as anything, that stands out and leaps out to me like, oh, this is from real life. So I'm very excited to see London do that and see places that I've seen before. I don't live in London. I don't live anywhere near London, but I have been to London a couple of times. And other mods. There is Morrowind. Not Morrowind, Skywind, I think it is. The project bringing Morrowind into Skyrim's engine. I've not heard a lot about that recently, but I also would like to play that at some point. Because having never played Morrowind, it would be very cool to be able to play it for the first time in sort of this updated engine, with updated models and textures, etc., etc. And actual games we might play. We're going to continue with Greedfall. I'm not thoroughly sold on Greedfall, I must admit. It's, I don't know, I find the gameplay a little bit repetitive. The story is interesting. I just don't know if the story is interesting enough that, it excites me to go out and play it and sort of add to it. I want to make sure I'm not just playing the game and uploading it. I want to add something to the game when I'm recording it. I want it to be like a storytelling experience, like Skyrim is with Arcadius, you know, this journey through kind of blagging our way into this job where we're not exactly qualified to do it. And I'd say about now we're probably qualified to do it, roughly, with the help of Inigo and Lucian. We're no sort of independent relic hunter out there just making a name for ourselves. We're still struggling our way through. Not much of a fighter, not the best archaeologist. And I like that, but I'm not sure if I really get to add that when I play Greedfall. So I'm gonna keep playing it for now. I'm hoping it's just me, because last time I played it, I don't think I was in the right mood to play it, so it didn't really, like, grip me in the way I kind of wanted it to, like it did at first. So we'll see. I'll keep playing that for now, and next, I don't want to make any promises and get expectations up, but I am thinking about playing Cyberpunk next. I have never completed Cyberpunk. I've played maybe the first quarter of the game and done like a lot around sort of the first area you get access to. Was it Japantown? Or the first area you start in. I'm not thoroughly familiar with it. And so I'd quite like to play that for the channel while it's still mostly going to be blind. And I know they have a big DLC coming out. Is it March? Sometime soon. There's going to be a big old expansion for it. So it would be good to get that underway relatively soon. I'm not a big fan of bullet sponge gameplay, which was quite off-putting. When in Skyrim it doesn't really bother me so much, but when it's a game where I've got an assault rifle and, you know, you empty the magazine into somebody coming at you with a sword, you kind of want the whole magazine to drop that person and not, you know, then let that guy just wander over like nothing's happened and whack you with his sword. So I might look at gameplay mods. I know there's one that kind of turns it into a bit more of a fast-paced shooter. And I didn't, when I was on Solstheim, I didn't get the other shrines when I was in the temple. So next time I'm there, I need to remember to activate the other shrines so Orien can make the sculptures. But yes, there are gameplay mods. I'll have to look into them carefully because I don't want to make it too easy. I prefer the sort of more tactical, you know, they drop from a couple of bullets, but also they can drop you with a couple of bullets, where just the damage dealt and received is a lot more deadly and fast-paced. That's the kind of gameplay I like in my shooters. So I think I will go that route if I play it. But, as I say, I don't want to give any firm commitments of, yes, I will absolutely play it next, but it's likely it's going to be next. I've never played Plaguefall, and I think I would quite like to play Plaguefall at some point. It sort of came out, made a buzz, and then sort of passed me by. As I didn't really watch anything about it, or sort of, well, as I say, I've not played it at all. But I think that would be a fun one, because people seem to love it, and the second one's come out, and that also looks very good. I am intrigued. I've seen, like, the first 5 minutes to sort of know how the game gets set up with the plot. But other than that, I've got nothing. Let's see. This is incredibly rambly, so I'll apologize now. I wrote down a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, but it's not scripted at all. I just thought we'd ramble our way through all the exhibits. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, the power of editing. Nobody knows there was a cut just then. And we can talk about the behind the scenes a little bit, actually. I only get to record 1 day a week, so I record in one sort of long session on that day. And because somebody asked about it the other day. And then after that, I edit throughout the week. And I sort of try, when I'm sort of beginning and like, ending a session, I try to sort of end on a natural stopping point. So like if I've just come out of a dungeon and I'm setting up camp for the night, that's a good point to kind of stop for the day. Because then it literally is a fresh start in the morning next time I play. And I'm not in the middle of a dungeon and forgetting where I'm up to, because I already forget. when I make plans, and then I go off on some massive tangent and forget what I actually plan to do. I don't think I'm terrible for that, but I've definitely done that. I've definitely decided, yes, I'm going to do this next time, and then completely forgotten and done something else. And the Spoils of Adventure, I think this is our 600 exhibit reward. Wandering Skyrim far and wide, the Dragonborn brought with them tales of daring and tales of woe, and the lesson that what you reap, you too shall sow. The great spoils of the adventures of the Dragonborn can be seen throughout this amazing gallery, and amazing it is. And this display is to commemorate the very spirit of adventure that led them to discover their destiny. Perhaps you too will one day find yours. And of course Arcadius has no idea who this Dragonborn is, as we used alternate start. The prelude to Skyrim is me reading the letter Orion sends you as part of alternate start. So we've completely bypassed Helgen. And because of that, it does mean whenever we're near Helgen, we have to avoid it like the plague, which does mean I've got to ride Brewster up some sort of mountain goat-esque antics to make sure I don't accidentally trigger Alduin into spawning. Anduin is from a completely different franchise. And because if Alduin spawns, it's hard to ignore and go about your day when you've just seen a giant black dragon just soaring across the sky. It's very difficult to just go back to what you were doing. And eventually, we will have to become the Dragonborn, of course. Because I think Legacy of the Dragonborn depends on you becoming the Dragonborn for the excavations, and also there will come a point where we've kind of exhausted what we want to do and can do, sort of in the near future. Because I do have a plan of, like, an overarching, yes, this is the bit I want to focus on next, and for now I want to focus on the Mages Guild. But it's not like I plan episode to episode. I kind of, you would have seen, I look at my journal, I look on the map, I kind of plot a route to follow where I can sort of pick up various bits on our journeys. And then that's where we kind of follow. Not getting that glass dagger still kind of pains me that we left it frozen there on the mountain, just stuck to the stairs. But yes, there's things that I probably won't do that are just out of character for Arcadius, because he's quite a moral character. I didn't want to be the kind of warrior archetype. He is a little bit of a coward. He's not much of a fighter, but he is kind of brave enough to go in with Inigo into a fight and Lucian and make sure that they're not left on their own for the most parts until things really go badly, and then kind of gets the hell out of there. But I didn't want him to be the, that swashbuckling character, goes in, agrees to everything, no fear. At heart, he's a nerd. He's a bit of a nerd. He thinks adventuring is pretty cool. He's not really a hero by any stretch of the imagination. And we've not been in here yet, so let's nip into the Hall of Natural Science. So yes, something like the Dark Brotherhood would be out of character for Arcadius. I'm not ruling anything out. I don't want to make concrete plans and then, set up expectations or spoil anything I'm going to do. But I want to do as much as I can in a way that's, in character, not just suddenly going on a massive twist and going on my villain arc of, oh, I'm evil now and murdering everybody. At its heart, he's just a nerd who wants to do cool things and has a moral compass. But what else? I had an idea for Sky Oblivion of the character I wanted to play, and I want to play something different for that. But since that's not going to be until 2025, that can safely go on the back burner. I'll have to think a little bit more about the character I want to play for Cyberpunk, because there are the 3 life paths. And I don't know which one appeals to me most, because there's Corporate, the Nomad, and Street Kid. And that's kind of a big decision that's going to kind of affect... Oh, hello, Orion. you can come for your chair there, and you're having dinner with our ghost friend. Let's do the Explorer Society, and we can have a look at this as well while we're here. I do like collecting the fragments in the excavation sites. It's very rewarding when you finally get everything put together, and you can put it on display, and you slowly see it grow your collection. And that's a big pull in general for Legacy of the Dragonborn for me. I've always loved collecting anything interesting or unique, all the books. I used to look at all the different player homes where I can have a, display all the books I found in a big old library and all the unique items in a cool, interesting way. And so, Legacy of the Dragonborn, adding all these different items to collect and then giving you this amazing gallery to put everything in, and having to ignore the fact that these must be fake, this glass sword, ebony sword, etc., because I can't use them, and we can't put them on display, so they can't be that good a replica. It's just very odd seeing that there. That's a little bit of a tangent, though. That definitely we can't put those on display. But yes, this is the perfect mod for me. If I had to only use one mod on Skyrim ever again, it would be Legacy of the Dragonborn. It just adds this well-rounded experience, which kind of slots perfectly into vanilla Skyrim, in a way. Other than, well, no, it does fit perfectly into vanilla Skyrim, really. It's kind of there for you to get engaged with as much or as little as you like. It's just a wonderful mod, and I can't give it enough praise. And there is the basement. We'll nip into the basement. We've not been in there in a little while. And can you not walk on the furniture, thank you? I know that's probably your bed, but it's still... well, it's not good manners. Orient's not got any notes in here hidden away, does he? The Lens of Truth, we've got that, so I wonder why he's reading it. Nope. Okay, we'll leave that alone. We'll give Orient his privacy. Excuse me. Yes, basement, safe house. And I think that'll be everything. But I think in Cyberpunk, what sort of character should I play? I'd like to do something a little bit different. Distillery barrel. Oh, is this to make the different... double distilled skooma, cyrodiilic brandy? I swear I've got cyrodiilic brandy. Will that be in here to look at? Yeah, I'd quite like to play something a little bit different. Maybe a little bit more morally grey and morally ambiguous. A little bit edgier. Because there's no followers or companions in that, so I won't be able to be as much of a coward. Somebody was asking about this button. I believe this is a reference to Nexus Mod Manager. This appears to be a strange button of sorts. Only the last 3 letters can be translated as NMM, but it is clearly broken beyond repair and without any hope of functioning properly. Best not to ask about it, because Nexus Mod Manager, it wasn't able to install, I think, the original versions of Legacy of the Dragonborn. And this is the original museum, for those that don't know. This is how the original gallery looked. It's come a long way. The latest rendition of it in, is it version 5? Yeah, I got version 5. And this is a debug portal we will never go in. Yes, the latest gallery in version 5. It is gorgeous. It is wonderful. And yeah, a morally grey character. And I think we're kind of coming to a natural stopping point as well. I'm not sure there's too much left to talk about. Which is just as well. I've not got a whole lot more to show off. There is a new Dwemer dish hutch that we need to fill up. And I'm not sure if this space in the silver hutch I should have filled up by now as well. Because there are bowls down there, there's plates there, there's a big old platter there. I'm not sure if there's other kind of goblets or candlesticks or something that I'm missing. If I am, please somebody shout and I can pick it up if I see it. This is a nice little player home too. With the secret passage down and out to the front of the gallery. In a way that I find the liquor cabinet doesn't always work as I want it to, because I'm sure there's liquor in there. Yeah, I've got firebrand wine and all sorts of other bits, and it's just not on display. Oh no, the firebrand wine's through in the living room, isn't it? Yes, this all should be full of pastries and such, but Inigo eats them all of the time. And having the storage chest and the cooler is just very neat. It's such a neat little mod. And I know this isn't the only mod to have displays like that, but it's the one I enjoy the most. Let's close that. Somebody's working away in the shop. Yeah, the mannequins as well. They always move. I'm just living with the fact that Inigo, Shirley, and Lucien like to play pranks on me and just move them around without my knowledge. I do need to get crafting again. I like being able to smith the armors and things like that and be sort of self-reliant, because not being that hero archetype, we kind of have to use other tools like the oils and sort of improving our gear with enchantments. We have to make sure we kind of improve ourselves more laterally than going sort of straight up and becoming super powerful as an individual. Let's close that. We are getting to the treasury and the cloakroom, and I think that'll be it. Hello, Shirley. You do spend a lot of time in the bathroom. Is it your joints? I don't know, I hear your joints hurt more with age. I do need to get more soaps. And I do need to make sure I've got all my mods up to date. I do consider... I don't know how interested people will be, but I do consider making a collection on my mod list on Nexus. But I want to make sure that I've got any little kinks ironed out. Because I've come across one or two that I've sort of had to fix in my time. And at one point, one mod was causing me crashes, and I had to remove it. It was the Encounters mod. Or one of the encounter mods I had early on. So that had to go, but it was mostly just people needing potions injured on the road anyway. And being a moral character, it was quite hard to ignore them. I do like the treasury. It is very nice seeing the treasury get more and more full. But I gotta say, a little pet peeve that these aren't a pile of septims that match my septim replacer. Speaking of, the money... I quite like septims having to weigh you down. It's like the more and more septims you have, the more and more they weigh. Because I think they're like 0.1 weight each. So like 1,000 septims is 10 weight. This is going to out how terrible I am at maths on the spot. We do have the cloaks in here. There are a lot of cloaks still to collect. There's a lot of everything left still to collect. Because when you think about it, we've got 600 exhibits, and there's still a load of spaces. And it just makes me excited to go out and get the next 600 relics. I don't know if I'll ever get absolutely every relic in this entire mod. But we will certainly have a good go at collecting absolutely everything we come across. Without sort of being pedantic about it. But if it exists and I know where it is, I want to get it. And I think that's a good point to sort of round up. Possibly Cyberpunk next. Not 100% which character I want to play, what sort of character I want to play. I'm going to give Greedfall another shot. I don't like the idea of leaving a game unfinished after I've started it. I've only done it the once, and that was with Chernobylite, because I was a fool, and I went in on the hardest difficulty, and it kind of snowballed until the point I got incredibly frustrated, I just couldn't keep up. Perhaps one day we'll go back to that. But if there's anything else anyone else wants to see on the channel, if there's any suggestions, because I quite like the idea of doing Plaguefall at some point, just let me know. As I say, I'm hugely grateful to everyone who tunes in and watches and who's as invested in this series as I am. You make it so much more fulfilling, and it's great. And now that I'm having to end an episode and I can't just simply make a cut at some natural stopping points, I've got to close out myself. I don't really know what to do, but as I said earlier in the video, this is incredibly rambly, so you were warned.